it back, but it's more than basic. It's a portion of his rap, but the core is ancient. It's supported like a pack of some more observations. They're important like the fact that we're bored of fake shit. More creative, have the floor, so take it. Travel to the door is a normal placement. Tattoos on my arm in a form of faith. Yeah,
so, guys, you know, we try and be positive in our lives, and we try and take in as much good and reject as much bad as possible. And one of the greatest ways to do that is to forgive those who slight us. It's something that the ancients have always said to do, something that Jesus said to do, and it's something that actually works. As soon as you start forgiving people that wrong you in some way, you find that your day goes by with much less vitriol in general, much less angst, much less stress. And so you tend to make it a habit once you start. But at the same time, there's that one motherfucker. That one dude who did that one thing that, try as you might, you're never going to forgive that shit. I ran into that shit today. Well, actually, not today. Last night. I ran into it last night. It could have been today. But it could have been, like, it was midnight. It was late. It might have been after midnight when I came to this realization that I can't forgive this guy.
Frame of reference is.
Now we're back to time?
Now we're back to time.
No, all right, we're not doing that.
We're not going to do time today. Our time episode was very incomplete, and we're going to get back to that. But today, Tattoo with Children is going to be about forgiveness. That's what you listen to. Listen to Tattoo with Children. I am your host, Flavor Ray, in seat A. And seat B across from me is the Dread Pirate Benjamin doing Sharpie art. And across from both of us is a man who I have forgiven of all slights and who will forgive you for all your slights on behalf of all mankind.
Maybe.
The Chief Intelligence Officer, CIO Payne.
Yo.
All right. So, what happened to Ray last night to get him thinking about forgiveness? Well, I have felt a lot of stress over the past few days. My day job has been extremely stressful for the past week or 2 weeks. And so I was going to relax last night, and so I started doing something again that I haven't really done in a long time, which is play a game, video games. I'm really into video games. You know, I grew up in that era where video games were just really starting to come into their own, and so I've played them all, and I love them all. And I came to this game that I love, and I hadn't played it in a very long time, and I started playing it. And it was as good as I remember. It was really, really doing a lot for me. And then I remembered that I can't play the sequel of this game because that sequel does not exist. And the reason it doesn't exist is because the company that made the game imploded in a very public, messy, impressive manner. And that made me very, very angry at the person who caused it. It just happened to be that the person who caused the implosion of this company is also the person who made the game. And that person is Curt Schilling, if you can believe that, boys and girls. Curt Schilling.
I'm very confused right now. Curt Schilling was not a game creator. Curt Schilling was a baseball player.
Yes, he was a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. He famously, heroically, led them to the top of the mountain, the World Series, while being injured. But he pushed his injury to the side and pushed Boston to the top. Curt Schilling was a baseball hero. He was never a great person. Okay, I just wanted to point that out before we get too far. Before we get too into it, he was never a great guy, but no one in Boston's organization, the Red Sox organization, was actually a great guy.
Okay. At
the time, so it wasn't like he was the worst guy.
Right.
You know, he was one of the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also a gamer, an avid gamer, and that led him down the road of absolute destruction with this company called 38 Studios.
Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
He was a gamer.
Yes.
Meaning he played games.
Yes, that's what that means.
Okay, all right. So he was a baseball player.
He was a baseball player, which is a game.
And
but
then he also played like console or computer games.
yes,
Okay.
he played console computer games. He was really into what's called MMOs, massive multiplayer online RPGs. WoW, World of Warcraft is an MMO. Final Fantasy 12 and 14, or not 12, 14 is an MMO. He was real into them. All right. So he goes to this gamer conference. And see, when he retired rich. Okay? Baseball players get paid a lot of money.
Right.
More than any other sport almost. And so he was very wealthy, and he started to think like what people do. Well, now I can do the things that I want to do. What I want to do is make a really kick-ass MMO.
Okay, I'm with you.
And so he went and got some friends together. He talked to a very famous author by the name of R.A. Salvatore.
Okay.
He talked to a very famous artist, made the Spawn comic book, Seth MacFarlane. Talked to some other creators, and they got together. They created this world, this huge, massive world, this massive backstory and lore and kick-ass art direction.
Okay.
And he decided they're going to make this MMO, but he can't get any money for it. So he goes to this fundraiser, and he meets this other rich guy on a bender. And they decide, we can actually do it. And this guy is connected to some of the people that made some other famous video games. Mm-hmm. And so they create this company called 38 Studios. And they start working on this game, and they call it Copernicus.
All right.
And they're working on Copernicus, and they immediately discover that Curt Schilling has no idea what the fuck he's doing. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't mean he doesn't know how to make games. They knew that.
Right.
He doesn't know anything about business. All right, like he's never really been in business before, and this is a problem because not knowing anything about business means people who do know something about business will not give you money. I don't know if you realize that.
Okay, I'm with you.
But if you ever seen Shark Tank, yeah, the sharks were just fuck you, Kurt. Okay, and so they're kind of hemorrhaging money, and the work is going nowhere. And then enter THQ. And Big Huge Games. Okay, Big Huge Games was a company that was in the exact same position as Curt Schilling. They had been doing one thing their entire careers, and all of a sudden decided they're going to do another thing. They had been doing these cute little top-down strategy games, tactical strategy games, and now they decided they want to do a massive open-world RPG. And so they made this massive open-world RPG called Ascendant. Well, people immediately said, hey, you don't know how to do this. We're not going to give you any money for it. Except for THQ. THQ took them on. And then THQ promptly went bankrupt.
Wow.
Like, it was, like, if guys, the game industry, video game making industry is so fucked as far as its monetary strategies are concerned usually. These companies open and close all the time. And so THQ had no choice but to get rid of Big Huge Games. And then Curt Schilling somehow, see, what he did was he made sure that all the decision-making power remained with him. Mm-hmm. Like he was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
And so he used all of his personal money just to make sure that no one else could tell him what to do in the company.
Okay.
So he used all of their remaining resources to then purchase Big Huge Games. Mm-hmm. And Big Huge Games then slid their Ascendant game over into this world that they had built for Copernicus, because Copernicus' world was really good. Just the game was not good. The game development was bad. And so now they have the game developers, and you got the world. You got the marriage of the two things that you need, right? And Ascended then became this game called Kingdoms of Amalur.
Okay.
And Kingdoms of Amalur, this development went beautifully. Like, it was absolutely fantastic.
It's my fault.
And it turns out that the game itself was absolutely great. It wasn't perfect, but it was really, really good. And we all really, really enjoyed it. Like it had a interesting world. It had interesting lore. It had interesting characters. A little cliche, but you can forgive that. It's just the first game. The gameplay itself was like something. If you ever played any of the God of War games, where it's just really, really fast paced, action oriented, really big, huge movements that make you feel like a badass. That was all Kingdoms of Amalur did.
Okay.
And it like broke down the class system, so you weren't classed in any one way. You could play any way that you wanted to. Like, it's the perfect thing to do on a night we need to relax, need to de-stress. Just go in there and say, today I'm going to be a fucking assassin. And so you just do all assassin shit. And then you say, well, for next 10 minutes, I'm going to be a mage. And you do all mage shit. It's absolutely fucking brilliant.
Nice.
But then the other shoe invariably dropped because it sold really well, but not well enough to front the development for an MMO, which is the most expensive game to make. And so they planned to just make a sequel to Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, which was a great idea in my opinion. The problem was they had spent a lot of money trying to make an MMO, and that MMO still didn't work. And in fact, no one at the studio even wanted to work on it at this point. They made like the environments, which were really good, and that's all as far as they got. So immediately, 30 Studios' backers began to get very antsy about what happened to all their money. Well, they get to how did Kirk fund all of this? Because he couldn't do it all on his own. He actually got the state of Rhode Island. The state of Rhode Island fronted him $75 million to purchase big, huge games.
Whoa.
And make Copernicus.
Whoa. Back up. Who funded him?
The state of Rhode Island.
As in, like, the government?
As in the government, yes.
The government body of Rhode Island made a decision to back Kurt Schilling.
I cannot make this shit up, Ben. That is what happened. So Rhode Island at the time was...
Rhode Island, if you're listening, I am also in need of some capital investment.
Well, they don't do that anymore, and this is the reason why. Rhode Island at the time was in an economic downturn. Their unemployment rate was hovering somewhere above 10%. They were having bankrupt cities left and right. I mean, it was bad. And the governor had no idea what to do. And so here comes Kurt Schilling. He says, hey, guy, I've got a great idea. We're going to make this game. And if you bring us to Rhode Island, we'll make it within your borders. And then when our game is hugely successful, other companies will say, hey, Rhode Island is a great place to make techie things. And then they will come to your state. And then you will have a tech boom, and I will save your state. And literally, somehow, this guy who has no idea about business, no idea about tech, no idea how to make games, convinced the state of Rhode Island to give him nearly $100 million.
Okay, continue the story.
So he gets the $75 million. They make the good game, Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. They also continue developing on the bad game, Copernicus, which isn't going anywhere. And now they get the sales figures back, and they realize that they're not going to make ends meet. And so everyone wants their money back.
No.
Yeah, so just give us what you got left, and we'll go from there. And
How much did he have left?
He had zero.
He had zero left.
He had zero left. Yeah. He had fucked all that money off.
Yeah, if you take the one away from the front of 100 million, there isn't a whole lot there.
No, it's just a bunch of placeholders. And so they then promptly fired all their employees without notice.
Can we pause just for a second?
Sure.
I'm gonna need the Tattooed with Children financier, whoever's in charge of this.
Right.
I need a red Sharpie.
Okay.
I think this art would be a lot better with red Sharpie.
All right. I'm sure myself and the CFO will take that under advisement.
Okay. Well, it's going to need to happen by Friday
Okay.
because otherwise I'm going to go on strike.
Okay.
But anyway, continue the story. The financiers, that's where you were at.
Yeah. Hold on. Gotta get on the phone to union rep real fast. No, the financiers were absolutely appalled that there was no money, and they had pretty much banked a good portion of their budget on it. And
How rich was Rhode Island?
they weren't. That was damn near everything they had.
Okay, continue.
So, yeah, 38 Studios immediately went belly up. Fired all their staff in one day. There was this great moment where the staff that was left, like packing up their shit, took a video of the gameplay that they had already made, just the environments, and they just posted it.
Yeah.
So here's what would have been. And it's great. It's a great little fly through of this beautiful little world.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking at it and going, that's fantastic. You spent all that goddamn money on visuals.
Yeah.
There's no characters. There's no action. What the actual fuck? You got to make a game, asshole. You can't just make a pretty mountain. So, yeah, that was that was the end of that story as far as I was concerned. Eventually, Rhode Island sued the fuck out of them, and they got like, I think
$7.
No, they got like 3/4 back of it. They got like $60 million out of it, which isn't terrible, but it was enough to save any of the politicians involved. They all got fucked in the asshole. And Curt Schilling is a disgraceful fuck to this day, as far as anything else is concerned. But this got me thinking about forgiveness because I discovered as I played this game last night, Kingdoms of Amalur, and I was enjoying it, that my enjoyment was immediately cut off when I realized I couldn't play the sequel, and that Curt Schilling was the cause, and that I'm still as angry at Curt Schilling today
Yeah.
as I was the day that 38 Studios closed.
What,
and I realized that I was fucked on the sequel.
What year did this happen in?
Oh, this was, I want to say 2012 or 13. Let me see. I'm just going to look up when Amalur came out, and it was the very next year. Because they had to wait for the thing about it was they honestly thought that the plan was for Amalur to actually front the money for the development of the rest of this, which didn't make any real economic sense. Yeah, that was 2012, so it was 2013 when the whole thing went belly up.
So you've literally been harboring
Yeah.
bitterness.
Bitterness in my heart.
Right, in your heart. You've literally let the cancer take over your heart and soul for the last 6 years.
It's not that bad. I don't think about it most of the time.
Yeah.
But I do realize that I can't play that game.
Yeah, and when it, but yeah, so
Yeah, so-
you,
yeah.
so like last night, you're trying to relax. You're at the house. You're in your boxers. You're like, you know what? By the way, we should talk about that. Do you wear boxers?
I don't wear boxers.
You wear briefs?
I do not wear briefs.
Oh,
The boxer briefs.
I do wear the boxer briefs if I wear anything, but
Yeah.
usually I don't wear anything.
okay. Wow. Well,
Every time you hear Flavor Ray's
Flavor-
voice, he's probably freeballing it.
Yeah.
Flavor Ray may have just become the most popular man in Lufkin. I have worn boxers since I was allowed to make my own decision on undergarments.
Right.
Mike?
I have some boxers, but mostly boxer briefs.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So we got all types here.
As long as there's no tidy whities in the house,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah. No, that should never happen.
Yeah.
That was one of those things in history that like the Curt Schilling incident, should be forgotten.
Yeah.
But not if you harbor bitterness towards it. So again, you're at home.
Yeah.
You're wanting to take some stress away. You're chilling out.
I'm
and
trying to
then-
relax. I'm trying to eat.
Yeah.
You know, I posted food porn last night. Like,
Yeah.
I had great food porn
Right.
last night.
You have posted some exceptional pictures the last few days. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I've been on a roll.
There have been several that I don't even like the food you're posting.
Right.
And it makes me hungry.
Yeah.
I'm looking at those fries with all that blue cheese shit over it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't even want that, and I'm starving. It looks delicious, but it's 3 a.m.
Dude, my daughter, she hates hot sauce.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't like those fries. She took one look and was like, those look really good.
Yeah, like that looks delicious.
Can I? I'm like, Audrey, you can't do this.
So now you're at this impasse because you know it's affecting you. And it's been brought up in your psyche, and you know it's bothering you.
Yeah, I know immediately that it's a thing.
Right. And
that I can't forgive Kurt Schilling.
This one human being is to blame.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's what made it worse to me.
Yeah.
It was like if it had been a committee,
yeah.
Or it had been like the board made a decision.
Right, or the company failed.
Right. It wasn't the company. He made sure that it was him.
Right. And so because it's him, it's very difficult for you to move past this.
Yes.
So now we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss the nature of forgiveness.
We'll be right back.
My name ain't Mikey, but yeah, you know why? Because I don't give a fuck. That's why it doesn't matter whether I'm cool or not.
Hello, we're back with Tattoo with Children. We were discussing forgiveness, or in particular, I started out discussing my lack of ability to forgive one person. Like, I have a massive ability to forgive just about anything that happens to me. Like you really can't do much to me and have me stay mad about it for forever.
Right.
I've had fights, and I've had injuries, and I've had arguments, and I've lost friends. But all that is water under the bridge because my life is dope, And so when you lead a dope life, you really don't. You're not mad about how you got there.
Right.
And so I forgive all of that, and none of that weighs down on me. But this thing that happened to not me, like I wasn't involved at all. A lot of people got hurt really bad.
Okay, but be fair, it did happen to you.
It did. It was a thing that but the thing that happened to me was I got a great game out of it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it was like if I really that's part of what bothers me.
Right.
Is like nothing. I was not directly affected.
Mm-hmm. You didn't lose in the sense that you did not lose your job.
I didn't lose my job. I didn't lose anything. I actually gained more than most people. Like I had an addition to my hobby, so that's great. It's just the fact that what did happen was the hobby that I enjoyed most was lessened slightly. Because this company, which was a great company that could do great things, was no longer in it.
Right.
And that happens all the time in video games, and it's not really a big deal. It's very rare that it happens because of one person. Yeah. That's what keeps getting me. It's just this one fucking dude. If he had made 3 decisions, differently, we would have had a different outcome.
Right. I bet he paid himself.
You know what? Here's the fun about Curt Schilling. The truth is, he didn't.
Really?
He came out of this situation broke.
Yeah.
And I looked it up again just to make sure.
I just hashtagged him on Instagram. I'm hoping he. Guys, that's one of the things that I really want. I really want to have a hashtag one day. I want to be able to look up Dread Pirate Benjamin, and there's a bunch of pictures of me and people who hate me.
I'm sure it happens.
Yeah, well, there are people who hate me, and that's the great thing. I mean, Nipsey Hussle said it best. Great. What did he say? He said, "Strong enemies are a blessing."
Yeah, that's an old Indian saying.
And
it's true.
that has been such a true statement. But we're going back to forgiveness. So you're attempting this morning to. You're attempting to forgive Curt Schilling for his sins against you.
I'm attempting to forgive Curt Schilling, and I want to, but I also don't want to be alone in this. Because to me, this is very petty of me. Okay,
See,
it's definitely something I got to change.
Okay,
And so I'm like, is there anybody else that feels that way about something that is really petty? Like we all have those people who have done major things to us.
Yeah.
But what about that shit that really wasn't that bad to you that you still just harbor a real grudge against?
So for me, it's generally like more philosophical issues. So for instance, like you're taking offense at this one issue, like this one guy for this one thing he did.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I am extremely bitter that previous generations did not get rid of the bra.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Like, so I'm actually fairly angry about it.
If the previous generation of human being,
right?
The previous generation, so our fathers and grandfathers,
yeah,
did not.
In other words, they
get rid of the brassiere.
Correct.
Why? Oh, okay. Why the brassiere?
It's just a terrible thing. It doesn't help anyone.
The bra doesn't help anyone?
No, it doesn't help anyone. Sports bras might, but like seriously, have you ever met a woman? Have you ever talked to one?
Yeah.
They all fucking hate them. Makes their back hurt, makes their sides hurt, makes their rib cage hurt, makes the breast hurt. These are all things that I like, and I like women.
Yeah.
So I don't know why on God's earth we've kept this thing around.
Well, I can say for sure that a lot of the baby boomers attempted to get rid of the bras. They threw things into fires. Yeah, they burned them.
They failed. So
he looked me dead in the eyes and said they failed.
They did.
No, they failed. They were changing a culture that had deep roots because they were fighting something that wasn't the bra.
In case you can't tell, I'm thinking a lot about underwear today. I'm not sure why.
But
okay.
I'm still not quite convinced that the bra is useless. Yes, I understand that it is a device that causes discomfort over time, but it also has its purpose. Am I right, women?
Well, this is going to go under things that the Dread Pirate Benjamin says.
Okay.
Thankfully, no one cares about your opinion. I am the only one that matters in this part of the conversation, and my opinion is correct.
Okay.
Now, let's get back to forgiveness before we just completely jump off the deep end into like Tattooed with Children, the underwear episode. And what is forgiveness?
Forgiveness. What is the nature of forgiveness? Its definition.
Mike, can you help us out here?
Yeah, we can get a Webster definition on it if you could, Mike. I think for forgiveness is when you let go of the emotions connected to a slight. Like it's like I don't even think it's saying this person is better or has done better or that you no longer or you will talk to this person. It's just letting go of the emotions connected to the negativity.
Stop feeling angry or resentful toward someone or something possibly for an offense, flaw, or mistake.
Okay, so I was very accurate in my off-the-cuff definition, according to Webster. It's to let go. It's to let go of the feeling. Like you get a slight and you get angry and you get hurt and you get resentful and like all these things being tied up around the event or around the person who caused the event, and it's a stone. It's a stone in your life, and stones make us slower. Stones hold us back. And when you just let them go, when you just let all that shit go, forgive it, then you're free to live your life better from that point forward because you're just lighter.
So I have a really hard time changing. I was thinking about this the other day because I've recently made several changes, and most of the changes I make tend to do with tattoos, and then next, like my wardrobe.
Right.
So, like, if I go through a big life-changing event, right?
Right.
I quit wearing a pair of shoes, and I'll only, I basically retire them.
Yeah, like Ben doesn't change his hairstyle.
Right.
But he does change his outfits.
Well, I mean, if you knew me in 2011, I've changed my hairstyle a little bit, but
Well, yeah. I mean, like, but I was.
but in
2000.
but in general, I keep it. Yeah. So, excuse me. I think I've got the plague. I think that. By the way, people are dying of the plague.
Where?
Have you been
No.
following this up?
Yeah,
No.
that's the thing.
What?
The plague is making a comeback. Not the
No.
not the. Okay, so apparently the plague can come up in 3 different ways,
Okay.
and bubonic is one of them,
right.
right? And that's not what's happening. It's pneumonic.
Pneumonic.
Yeah, so it's the same plague that was the black scourge, the black plague,
Bubonic.
the bubonic plague. It's the same plague,
It's just not coming
but
up in.
it's not coming up bubonically, whatever that is.
Okay.
I don't know what the bubonic part was, but there's like bubonic, pneumonic, and something else. And hunters in so far they believe that hunters, people who have to eat small animals to stay alive, in where it's like that weird part of China, Russia, where the Mongols come from. It's like that area.
Mongolia.
Yeah. Okay. You know, I mean,
How the fuck did that even happen just now? Okay, Ben, you
was-
said several times that you didn't graduate from high school. You only
Right.
got a GED. And
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna let you lean on that shit anymore because
Right.
you are well read, well spoken.
I'm a fairly well-read person.
and you write really well. You're as educated as any person who has probably 3 years of college.
that might be true.
You need to know that the Mongols come from Mongolia.
I mean, that's
That's
probably,
got to be some front part of the brain.
At some, but see, the problem is I spent so much of my formative years thinking about what was behind the bra that I really couldn't pay attention. So, like, the Mongols could be from Tibet. Like, the fuck do I know?
They
could be from Louisiana.
So here in this country, Mongolia, we have the Mongols, and Ben's going titties. Titties. Titties.
I mean,
What kind of titties you got in Mongolia? Like,
I mean, I'm not saying I was thinking those words because those words would have been sin. But
of course, at the time.
But at the time, yeah, I mean, it crossed my mind. So okay, anyway,
All right.
in Mongolia or somewhere around it, the
Nepal
plague,
or someplace where he's
the
talking about.
plague is making a comeback.
Okay.
So
Okay.
far, 6 people have died from it, and one dude like shot a rabbit and ate it and died the next day.
So have they cordoned this area off?
No, well, it's really hard to get to this area anyway.
Well, I mean, I think that since like it's 6 people, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean, it was the last time I checked.
it would be a great idea to go ahead and just destroy that whole village. Am I correct? Like, I mean,
I think isn't there some kind of World Health Organization?
yeah. World Health Organization, like, don't they have missiles?
Okay, the interesting thing about my education is how did I pull the World Health Organization up, but I don't know where the Mongols are
This
from?
is my issue. That is exactly my point. Your education level is very high, actually.
I can own, but see, it's like it's an access problem. So like my brain can only pull so many files, right?
Okay.
And so like where the Mongols are actually from is important to the sentence, but it's not important enough for my brain to reach in.
go and find that information.
Right, yeah, like I'd have to turn the page, and I don't want to do that, so I'll just keep going.
But the thing about it is, it's not the issue of going, okay, I got to access my geography knowledge.
Right.
It's more of like, okay, if you put IAN on the end of this word, you get the country.
That's where I was gonna go.
There
There are some. Granted, there are some difficult ones, right? But you know what? Mongolian, right?
but Mandalorian. Are the Mandalorians
From Mandalore.
They're from Mandalore.
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay, see, some people probably don't know that.
Louisianans are from Louisiana.
That's not a fucking
are
word,
from
Mike.
Texas.
See, okay,
Texans
so see,
are from
now
Texas.
okay, but this is the point. Cajuns are not from Caja.
That is true.
Cajuns are
not
from
Cajun.
Louisiana.
They're from Louisiana.
See, that's my point. So just because you put some letters on the end of a word just makes you sound more educated. It doesn't actually give you any factual information.
Apparently,
This is so great.
make a living out of just putting some letters on the end of a fucking
This is
word.
so fucking great. What I love about this is that Ben finally found the word that he needed was Cajun to try and fight
like
this.
He was thinking about it the entire time, right?
They're not from Caja. Okay.
See, the
So,
thing-
okay, you know what? You may be right. Because people from Massachusetts, they're massholes. That's very different.
That is different.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing is just, I don't know, but it does, it confuse guys. I'll be
Italians
honest
not
with
from
you.
Italia. Okay, I gotta stop.
See, it does,
Italians are from Italia if
See,
you say it in Spanish.
It does. It
point.
does confuse me though, because I don't know how I referenced the World Health Organization in the very next sentence. Like I'm pretty sure. Like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going like, I have never read a document that included anything by the World Health Organization. I have never filed that away.
Yeah.
You know, and
Maybe
yet,
it was spontaneous. Maybe he's like, isn't there a World Health Organization? They should invent that.
No, you know what it was? I know what it was now.
Okay, go ahead.
It was the most recent Mission Impossible movie.
Oh.
Tom Cruise's girlfriend that he thought died worked for the WHO.
Yeah, they worked for the She worked for the WHO.
Yeah, okay, so that's
you
how I
can't
got
call
it.
them the Who.
You can't call them the Who.
See, it's
The Who is a band,
oh my God.
and they're great.
Okay, that's fine.
All the choir got everybody dancing, dog. Y'all on that X, I'm a sentinel, standing tall. No time to stand still, please don't meander, dog. They throwing jazz at me to challenge my rap savvy. I sway like Callaway. I'm a
You know who we listened to last night?
Who? Is it groupie?
Cake.
Cake?
You haven't.
I haven't listened to Cake in probably
Jeez.
5 years.
Ah, cake is so good.
I'm trying to think of the last time I heard Cake.
Exactly, but like it's fucking mellow and chill, man. Like
Yeah, no, it's great.
I had forgotten that Cake was a band.
Yeah, well, I hadn't heard that reference in a very, very long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys, if you don't know Cake, oh God, what's the name? What's the name of the song? The
Distance?
Yes.
Yeah, but they got a whole new playlist on Spotify, and it didn't get to the distance for like 27 songs, and I wasn't mad about it.
Nice.
Now
Yeah,
then,
they've got a pretty good portfolio.
now on song 26, it was an instrumental,
Okay.
and it went on for like 13 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds like Cake.
And I literally yelled at my son and said, "Put something else on." And so,
Xander's just grooving.
right, and so my son, being himself, right,
Yeah.
he immediately stopped it, which I appreciated greatly. And then he started Gregorian chants.
Okay. Obviously, that was you talking to you in your voice.
That was a very dick move.
Yes, it was.
I mean, it could have been worse.
It could have been Enya.
It could have been fish.
Oh, that would have been worse. Could have
Now,
been fish.
now he corrected it, and like 30 seconds later, he put it on Lil Wayne radio.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, dude, he's your son.
Yeah.
He's trying to help you out.
He knew that pain was coming. But it was quick enough. Now, interestingly enough, we listened to like 2 hours of Gregorian chanting after that. Once I was done with the tattoo, I actually like Gregorian chanting.
Okay.
Probably
Okay,
not in the middle
so
of a tattoo.
let me ask you this. Are the Gregorians
from
from Gregor?
No,
Is there
no.
a country called Gregor? And
No.
that's why they're called Gregorians?
No, they are.
Is there a Gregoria?
They are a sect of
Can I
monks.
can I
It has-
can I
they are-
drive my car to Gregoria?
No, but you can drive your car.
Excuse me, please.
You
Could
can-
I have some Gregorian cheese with my salad today?
Actually, I think they might have that.
they might have
They have the Gregorian cheese. Like it's a good descriptive because the Gregorian monks. I mean, they're a thing. It's
They're
just
literally responsible for your fucking calendar. So
what did they? Are they still in existence? Like, are they a thing?
yeah.
That like they're Gregorians?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are they
they're
Catholics?
Like
are they
I think
Protestants?
they're
Like, are they
division of the
their own
Catholic
thing?
Church.
They're Catholic.
They're like
Okay.
the Franciscans or
Yeah, like the Franciscans are Franciscans. We got Franciscans here.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean, I'm good. The Franciscans are nice people. I've never been to Francisco, but I'm sure it's a nice country.
That is a place. It's a city.
If you put sand in front
If
of
you
it.
put sand in front of it. See, he's getting himself so tied up, guys. This is
He's
so
literally
fucking crazy.
He's literally Ron Burgundy.
Oh my God! This
Yeah,
is
he is
so great.
He is literally
He's kind of a big deal.
San Diego, a whale's vagina.
I don't know if you guys have seen my movies, but they're pretty great.
All right, so back to forgiveness. If we can find that fucking topic that we started this with,
It's right here on my page.
we went up a goddamn whale's asshole to get back to forgiveness again.
Can you imagine if I had been Lewis and Clark?
Oh Jesus! If you'd been Lewis and Clark, they'd have fucking tried to cross the Rockies and end up crossing the Andes. It'd have been stupid.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that I would have tried to cross the Rockies and somehow ended up in Australia.
So
Okay,
wow,
so
look at that funny looking fucking dog over there, man.
Right.
He can jump really high though.
I don't remember crossing an ocean.
We're gonna call this Clark's
Clark.
dog.
Okay, forgiveness. So but where this whole rabbit trail started from my end is, see, forgiveness to me falls in the category of quitting.
Oh, okay.
So I struggle a little bit with forgiveness because
That's interesting.
if I'm going to forgive someone, then I have to quit. Well, one of the things you know about me is I'm not a quitter.
That is true. He's not a quitter.
So even if something is bad for me, I will not quit doing it.
That is very, very true.
So even if, for instance, Jesus himself walks up to me on the street and says, Ben, you're wrong. This is bad, and you're going to go to hell for it. I'm like, but I'm not a quitter.
Right.
So what you got? I mean, are there other options? Like, could I do it like this way? Like, could I... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so the problem for me with forgiveness is I have to quit something. So, like, I don't want to quit smoking. I don't want to quit drinking. And I don't want to quit hating that motherfucker, that one guy, that Kurt Schilling dude. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And so I'm just kind of sitting here going, like, when you think about forgiveness, are you able to put, do you put it in a different category? Because, because I have to, so what I have to do if I'm going to forgive someone is I have to actually replace it with another concept. So what I've tried to do in recent years and been somewhat successful at is I'll put gratefulness in its place
Okay.
until I'm so grateful for all the people that are not Kurt Schilling,
Right.
right? That I'm able to see him in a different light.
Which I think is a good tactic. Like, I think you're describing different modes of forgiveness. Like, you're trying to let go, but you're trying to let go without letting without letting everything go. Like, in other words, you want to put these feelings to the side, and so you can look at it from a different angle, and then say, okay, I'm not letting them go. I'm just transforming them into feelings of apathy. For Kurt Schilling said, now I just don't care about him because he's not worth caring about.
And if I eventually get to, but I think this is I don't know, because there's another side of it too. And we talked about this years ago at the coffee shop. One of Jesus's commandments. We're going to trigger our listeners so hardcore because we're like, fuck God in episode like 31. And then by episode 34, we're like, so what Jesus simply said was.
Yeah, I mean, well, then it makes perfect sense. That's exactly how I think about God and Jesus. But keep moving on.
So one of the things Jesus said, though, was forgive your enemies.
Yes.
So you remember those famous late night conversations at Stampot Coffee House where I would ask people who their enemies were.
Yes, and nobody had enemies.
And to a man or a woman, they were all like, I don't have enemies. And I'm like, so Jesus said something stupid? And they're like, well, it's not that it's stupid. It's that I can love others I just don't have enemies.
Well,
And I'm
I
like,
was going through it. Say, if you don't have enemies, then why are you here?
yeah,
Like, like, if you don't have enemies, like, there's no reason to be on a porch at 2:00 in the morning
yeah,
if you have no enemies.
yeah. You should go to bed at like 8:30.
They're like, well, why are you here? I said, well, I'm here watching that motherfucker across the street that's after me.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not gonna take my eyes off that motherfucker.
Right.
I mean,
Like I'm here at 2 a.m. talking about shit because like life is hard, you
Yeah.
know. And this dude like wronged me, and
Yeah.
like, and I don't know if we should burn his house down or if I should take him a cake. So Jesus said, "Love your enemies." And again, the interesting part of that is the way it relates to forgiveness is we have forgive your enemies.
Yes.
Do good to those who hate you.
yes,
Well, it implies then that there are people who hate you.
right,
And the text also implies that you have enemies.
yep.
So to me, that was like step one. Like, okay, who are these people who hate me? Like, do I have anybody who hates me? Do I have enemies?
I think step one in that case is do something to be hated for. Like live your life in a way that someone can disagree with you.
Yeah.
Be a person of consequence first, and then after you have built up a bank of haters,
Yeah.
forgive them.
Yeah, like just go through and check it off the list.
Go through and each one of them, send them the thank you card.
And you're probably right, there are probably different modes of forgiveness. Some people are probably, like some people can just like, hey, I'm going to quit drinking, like this is not good for me.
I put forgiveness in the category of self-care. Like
Interesting.
I would put it. It's like, you know what? I can either get a $50 massage, or I can just forgive that guy and get off my back, and my back will feel better.
Yeah.
Like it's
Do you believe
it's instant therapy.
Okay, do you believe it's enough to get to a place of feelings of apathy towards a person? Because to me, that doesn't encapsulate, like, that may be the first step in forgiveness.
Yeah,
But
I don't
think
think
you have to get-
that's not forgiveness.
I think you do have to get to a place where you recognize that might be, this might be a very important part of Kurt Schilling's journey.
Yeah, I think I have to get to a place of appreciation for Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
Now, let me just go ahead and preface this all with, I'm not getting there anytime soon. Like this thing I have against Kurt Schilling
Right.
is very deep.
Right.
And it's not going away. Like I don't want it, but
Yeah.
it's there.
Right.
Okay, so like I don't want people to think that I'm saying forgiveness is easy,
Right.
or that I can do it all the time. I can't.
Would fries and blue cheese help?
It didn't last. See, that's the weird fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like when you're not forgiving somebody,
Right.
like when you're mad and forgiveness is away from you,
Mm-hmm.
the things that aren't related to that that are positive can't get through.
Really?
This is another reason why forgiveness is so important, in my opinion. Because if you have, like, to me, I'm lucky. Okay, I think, because I just have Kurt Schilling and maybe one or two other people. Like I don't even know who those people are right now,
Right.
in the front of my brain. But it's probably one or two other things that I can't forgive.
Yeah.
But those are it.
Yeah.
Like everything else in my life, I have completely forgiven.
Okay.
And so most of my life is very positive. Like most of my life is food porn,
Yeah.
and podcasting, and working with children,
Right. And and tattoos.
and tattoos.
Like mostly this week, the tattoos you're not getting that I'm doing on other people.
But I've already forgiven that.
Yeah.
I was upset about that for about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I just love the fact that my man David had a dope tattoo.
Did you see the one I did on him last night?
No.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so good.
Okay, I'm gonna be mad about that again, but that's for later. I'm like I don't know why Ben likes to hurt me on the air. Like I'm in the mic and you just want to stab me in the chest while my listeners listen to me.
I'm just trying to make good content.
I was being really fucking positive, and now you're telling me that, well, I made his arm even doper.
I'm just trying.
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Just trying to make good content, Ray. We need some.
You're black. I
we
can't
need-
tattoo
we
black
need-
people no more.
That's
Now,
not what I
that's not
said.
fair. It's not that he can't tattoo you. It's that he can't then use your tattoo to show it off.
I ain't gonna tell nobody that I tattooed you. We're gonna do it in the dark. We're gonna tattoo you and then never tell nobody what we did.
This conversation is getting extremely dangerous.
Okay.
very
All right. So
it should be dangerous. God damn it.
okay.
Okay.
So,
I'm still okay.
So you how long? How long does it take you to? Cause okay, so like fries and blue cheese don't help me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But see, like you say things that don't enter into it, but like breasts definitely help me.
I mean, I think
Like they help me a lot. Like I can forgive. I can forgive a lot.
I
But
think
why?
I think if the person who has wronged you is also like, they wrong you, and then you're like, you wronged me, you hurt me,
Right.
And then they whip out like a luscious set of jugs.
Yeah.
Like I was forgiven.
Yeah,
That's fine.
we're gonna go to hell for this episode.
I'm fine with that actually, because now we're into it.
Okay.
Because
So why has that not occurred with the Kurt Schilling incident?
because he hasn't given me anything. Like after Kurt Schilling did 30 Steals, he then went on Fox News, become a contributor
Yeah.
on Fox News, and started saying a bunch of bullshit about.
See, there you go.
And then, but it was, I wasn't mad about that. I'm never mad at Fox News contributors or anybody that tells lies for a living.
Right.
I know what you're doing. I know you got to get paid, and that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
It's just, but it wasn't giving me anything back.
Yeah.
Like if he had gone from 38 Studios and then be like, you know what? Not only did I fuck up, but I'm going to own this fuck up majorly
Yeah.
by now taking everything that I've learned
Yeah.
and spearheading an effort to get this game made. Like this is going to be my life
Yeah.
from
I'm
now on.
gonna crowdfund it or something.
Yes, I'm going to make every.
Mike, can you also find some information on what Kurt Schilling's up to now? Like just like Kurt Schilling in the news.
He's not up to dick. He's doing nothing with his life.
Well, maybe he doesn't have it as good as you. Maybe
That's
your
probably
life,
that's
maybe
probably
your
good.
life is better.
That's probably great. It's
maybe-
probably great that he suffers.
Maybe he works for State Farm
See,
now.
I can't forgive him. Jesus Christ, I have got to get over this. You're like Kurt Schilling probably has a bad life. I'm like, God damn it, that's great.
So
This shit should be fucked up forever.
So how long does it take you? Because like so
I
far,
don't know.
I mean, well,
been
I
6
mean,
years.
I would argue that if you have harbored this bitterness,
Okay. As of August 12th, 2019, Kurt Schilling was absolutely considering running for Congress.
See now, see what I love about that is now you hate him. See now you, the listener, also hate Kurt Schilling.
I don't hate Kurt Schilling. I just have zero expectation or confidence that he would be any different from anybody else who's in Congress right now.
And now no one is going to forgive him. This is a great episode. This made me feel better.
See,
That helps.
okay, that helps. But what's funny is what it brings to mind is because since I've quit reading the sacred scriptures and moved on to other sacred scriptures, the verse comes to mind. Jose Canseco just snitched because he finished. See,
That's true. That's absolutely true.
See that, but what it makes me think is like, you don't fucking run for Congress because your shit's working. You run for Congress because your shit's done.
You do not. You don't work for Congress. You don't run for. You don't work for. You don't run for any. You don't run for president
Yeah,
if everything is just hunky dory.
right. No.
That's that. No one has done that.
No.
Like you go back and look, people. This is a good exercise for my listeners. Go back and look at what every president of the last, let's say, 40 years
Yeah.
was doing before they became president.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that they were doing nothing of worth
Yeah.
before. You can pick any
Well,
president you want.
and I watched the new episode of The Watchmen last night, and in the story of The Watchmen, Robert Redford is president.
Okay. Robert Redford,
both-
the actor.
Yes, in both versions of the story, actually.
Yes.
Robert Redford is the president.
Yes.
And I'm like, that makes sense, because, he finished.
It does make sense, and I would, dude. If Robert Redford ran, I would vote for him in a
Yeah,
heartbeat.
exactly.
Easy.
Well, Ronald Reagan, man.
Yeah.
He wasn't our worst president.
No.
People like to cite him. Again, that's what's amazing about people not being grateful for what we have today.
Right.
We have, currently Mike's gone talking on his, and we still have 3 computers more powerful than what Ronald Reagan had to run the free world on this table.
Yes. Sitting here right now, if Ronald Reagan had what I have in my hand right now
Yeah,
at the time,
right.
We wouldn't have won the Cold War. We would have destroyed Russia.
Right.
It would be just a pit.
Right.
I mean, it was like I said,
Or it would be like Second America.
it would be
It would
just,
be like America 2.0.
and it would be more patriotic than anything that we currently have.
Yeah, but so I don't
Second
respect
Texas.
that. Clearly, Mr. Schilling is having some issues if he's thinking about running for Congress.
Yes, his all his shit's fucked up. Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, I'm not happy about that. Like I don't take joy in the suffering of others.
Yeah.
But
But what I was about to say before Mike gave us that information was, it might, if you've harbored it for 6 years, see, the law of equivalent exchange states that you're going to have to have the same energy go out
Right.
as came in. Okay?
uh-huh.
And we'll talk about the law of equivalent exchange on another podcast. But 'cause
Yeah.
that's a really fucking good topic. I love that topic.
It's a great topic, and
But-
it's one that is very apropos today.
Yeah, but you might have to either work 6 years to get to a place of gratefulness to where he doesn't hold that spot in your heart anymore, or have an equal experience in a shorter time period.
I think I do believe, and this is something that I believe about forgiveness, which may not be true, but I believe that forgiveness is actually easier than holding on. Like, I believe that the letting go of the emotions is easier than holding on to the emotions.
So when you put it in the self-care category, you're actually enjoying hurting yourself with this.
Yes, exactly.
That is fascinating.
And this is the truest part about it. He just hit on it. And I was going to get to it, but this is also the truest thing. The truth is, when that happened, I absorbed every fucking story. The reason why I can recount that story so accurately, because I've told it to myself like a bedtime story several times.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, dozens of times. Every time I wrote a new article about 32 years, I was on top of it.
yeah.
Because, like, there's a certain thing about not forgiving, about being in a negative pattern
Right,
that we really do enjoy as people.
right.
You know, like it's not healthy, but it's very human. And so that's why when it happened last night, I was back in the pattern. I knew for sure that there were other people who were also repeating a pattern of not forgiving something. And I'm interested in those stories, guys. Like, you don't have to like name names or anything like that, or call out your family or shit. But if you've got a story about forgiveness that you like to share, go ahead and DM us at Tattoo with Children on Instagram or on Facebook at Tattoo with Children. You can also hit us up on Twitter at Tattooed With. And you can DM me personally about Tattoo with Children on IG at Madara Shadow. Or you can hit me up on Hunter Vanguard. I will answer that one on Hunter Vanguard, but the Tattoo With is probably your best bet there. You can find Pirate Ben on IG at Black Crow Brother and at Black Spot Tattoo Company. And you can find CIO Payne at CIO Payne on IG or at Payne.points, which is spelled Payne. Guys, forgive your enemies and love your family the way I love you.
See you guys.
Later.
We were born to bring it back, but it's more than basic. Cause a portion of its rap at the core is ancient. It's supported like a pack of some more observations. They're important like the fact that we're bored of fake shit. More creative, have the floor, so take it. Travel to the core is a normal placement.